So let's dig into it. AOC tweeted her reasoning 15 minutes ago. Yeah, I want to take a look at it. The AOC tweet: Marjorie Taylor Greene's amendment does nothing to cut off defensive aid to Israel, nor end the flow of U.S. munitions being used in Gaza. Of course, I voted against it. What it does do is cut off defensive Iron Dome capabilities while allowing the actual bombs killing Palestinians to continue. I have long stated that I do not believe that adding to the death count of innocent victims to this war is constructive to this end. That is a simple and clear difference of opinion that has long been established. I remain focused on cutting the flow of U.S. munitions that are being used to perpetuate the genocide in Gaza. Okay, so the proposition here is that if we do not give this money to Israel for the Iron Dome, or give these munitions to the Iron Dome for, like, you know, the David Sling and like the Arrow system and the Iron Dome, then there are innocent Israelis who could die within this conflict, and we don't want any innocents dying. That's a, I suppose, fine moral position, but that's a dumb political one. That's a dumb strategy, because continuing to have like Tel Aviv be protected by American munitions is why they feel such impunity, because they're kind of untouchable, even though Iran and, you know, the Houthis and Hezbollah have kind of proven that the Iron Dome ain't shit. More like the Iron Don't. This is a move you make when you are trying to demonstrate that you are like the reasonable person in the room, right? I don't want innocents to die, but we shouldn't be sending any offensive munitions. Well, here is the fucking problem with that, is many of the defensive munitions that we send to them are retrofitted to be offensive. This is probably the thing that makes me give up on like any kind of like, I don't want to say defense, but the rationale that I have used in the past for why AOC, despite many failings, is still like close to our side. This might be one of the things that like completely like ends that for me. Now, that does not mean that I'm not going to try and understand what her moves are, right? As someone who is clearly on many issues, like to the left of the broader political structure, but this is cope. Just say that you don't believe that Israel should not have these weapons. Just say that. Just say that Israel having these munitions is acceptable to you, because it's not to me. They can fund it themselves. If you want to be a forward operating base for the West, then fund it the fuck yourself. Why are we giving Nazis shields in the first place? Yeah.
Listen, we don't want anyone to die, which is why we need to ensure that Berlin is able to defend itself from air raids.
The term you're looking for is she is naive. I don't believe she's naive. I don't believe that. I do not believe that. I would say naive for like a freshman congressperson. I would say that for somebody who came up at a time when there was, less political instability, geopolitical instability in the world. No, it's terrible strategy. If you think this wins you any flowers, no. On one hand, the Green New Deal progressive movement is great, but she can't do foreign policy at all. She doesn't have the progressive focus on all fronts. And this, yes, I've described this many times. Many of the progressives within Congress have great domestic policy, and they have great social policy and all that. They have dog shit foreign policy. Bernie, AOC, Summerlee, and Ilhan and Rashida, they do have pretty solid foreign policy. Jamal Bowman, up until he went to Gaza with J Street and was like, oh shit, it's apartheid, he also had dog shit foreign policy. Many of them still feel some type of way about China, right? We can say what we want about that. I think that's, just part and parcel of being American. She doesn't have the progressive focus, point blank, not even internal. I'm gonna be honest. She's someone who's always there to give space for liberals, just to quiet down the socialists and the leftists. I mean, endorsing Zoran, that's great. Endorsing a lot of progressive candidates. I think if this were 2021, we might be able to say something different. She is now almost a decade into her career. I ain't seeing enough. I am not seeing nearly enough. Is she like a Kirsten Gillibrand, Elizabeth Warren style Democrat? No, she's still to the left of them, but I think we should demand more than that. Let's take a look at what Marjorie Taylor Greene said.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. As the House considers the defense appropriation bill today that costs the American people $831 billion, it's important to talk about that this is the funding for our great men and women serving in our military and our nation's defense.
Do you think that she didn't want to be associated with Marjorie Taylor Greene as openly anti-Semitic? I think that is a more likely reason as to why she didn't vote for this, because she and Marge hate each other. and didn't want to vote for something that Marge put forward, then you don't want Israel to not be able to defend itself with surface-to-air missiles. That makes more sense than her reasoning. You could just say you hate Marge and you don't fuck with anything she puts forward.
Department of Defense's mission statement is to deter war and ensure our nation's security. And that is worthy of the American people's hard-earned tax dollars. However, the American people are $37 trillion in debt. So this is money that is being spent that they already don't have. My amendment would strike 500...
Could be both, though. I mean, true. Someone also said AOC is doing an event in Plattsburgh, New York tomorrow with whoever Paul Tonko is. She's totally prepping a run against Schumer or Hochul, in my opinion. Then she should have voted for this. Zoran Mamdani won by saying he would arrest Netanyahu. One of the many things he said. That wasn't a deal breaker. You saying, no, I don't even want them to have defensive capabilities coming from us. That's a good thing. This is a L, a fat L.
$100 million in funding for nuclear-armed Israel's missile defense system. And it's important to phrase it that way. Israel is a nuclear-armed nation, which is very capable of defending themselves, and they have been proving that so as we've watched on the world stage. The U.S. already provides Israel with $3.8 billion annually in foreign aid. I
agree with you, but she thinks that she can't lose, that she would lose upstate New York votes if she doesn't move towards a centrist position on Israel. Again, this goes back to what we were saying earlier. Zoran did not take a centrist position on Israel. You can say that he believes like Israel should exist as a, free, democratic, state with equal rights. That's a bit of a, lending some existence to a colonial state. But there's like a read in there that you could take away, like, oh, well, Israel is fundamentally like incumbent upon it not being a free society. So he doesn't think that it should exist, right? But it goes to what we were talking about, moderation and centrism. So some apartheid is acceptable. So some genocide is acceptable. So some second-class citizenship is acceptable. This is not even like a don't let the perfect be the enemy of the good thing. This is a people are demanding something more radical. People are demanding something more representative of what the broader majority of Americans want. Go hard. Shit. Say you're anti-capitalist. Say you want to abolish private property. Say you want to abolish the profit motive. And when people ask you what that means, you explain it in simple terms. Be bold, or you're just a fucking huckster. You're just a... And she thinks she needs to? Yeah, she thinks she needs to because she's a bad strategist. She's kind of demonstrated that relentlessly, that she's bad at political strategy. Oh, no oligarchs. Cool. What were you getting 30,000 people out in swing districts for, other than to get them their email registered? And what was that for?